Okay, hi, I'm Leah. I'm going to talk about little things about PTSD today. So, um, basically, PTSD, like the symptoms are reliving and re-experiencing the trauma. Like, upsetting memories about the event. This usually involves having vivid images about the trauma come up again and again, even when you do not want them to. For example, if you were physically attacked, you might keep remembering your attacker's face. Or if you were in a car accident, you'd keep remembering strong memories about the sound of the crash, vivid picture of blood all over yourself or someone else involved. Nightmares about the trauma. People with PTSD often have very vivid nightmares. I know I do. Uh, of either the trauma theme surrounding the trauma, for example. If you were in a car accident, you might have frequent nightmares about being in the accident yourself or other people being involved in the accident. Some people with PTSD who were assaulted will have nightmares of being chased. Me, I have nightmares about being dragged out of my bed and me asking them to stop. So, uh, acting as if the trauma were happening again. This is also called delusion. I I'm having trouble sounding that out. Anyway, where an individual loses touch with the present and feels as if they are reliving through the event again, uh, or trauma. Some people with the symptom might speak and act as if they are physically in the traumatic situation, where others might appear to simply stare off into space for a period of time. Some people with PTSD have flashbacks, which they are very vivid images of the trauma they experience. Flashbacks can seem very real, and some people describe it as a picture or a movie they can see clearly in their minds. I can tell you what my room looked like at 7 years old. I can tell you what bed I had. I can tell you how my room was decorated. I can slightly tell you how the people who molested me looked. I know one of them wore glasses. As I get older, I forget what their face looks like. Um, Now I'm going to go in with what completely happened. You probably already get the hint to that. Anxiety or distress when reminded of the trauma. Some people with PTSD become extremely upset or feel very anxious whenever they are confronted with a person, place, situation, or conversation that reminds them of the trauma. This can include becoming very upset when hearing tires well if you are in an accident, or feeling anxious when watching a violence on TV if you were assaulted. Um, why do I have flashbacks? Or these are things about like what is post-traumatic stress. I just basically looked it up and figured I'd read some stuff about it. Not only to help other people understand, because some people don't want to look it up. When I first found out I had it, my first idea was I looked at it and I started crying. I didn't want to read it. Hearing that I had it made me feel crazy. My best friend Corey told me she had to keep telling me. I think she told me a couple times on the phone, I'm not crazy. And yeah, I know I'm weird. But if we were all normal, we'd be pretty boring. Um, but symptoms of increased anxiety, sleeping difficulties. I sleep maybe 3 or 4 hours a night. Some people with PTSD will have trouble falling asleep or staying awake. This often happens when you feel quite anxious throughout the day. Anger outbursts or irritability. It is not uncommon for people with PTSD to feel more irritable or angry. If you have the symptom, you might find yourself snapping at people, or getting extremely angry in situations that remind you of your trauma. For example, if you were in a car accident while driving, someone cut you off. You might get angry and even yell or act inappropriately. Keep in mind, although most people with PTSD will develop symptoms within 3 months of the traumatic event, some people don't even notice symptoms until years after it occurs. A major increase in stress, exposure to reminder of the trauma can trigger symptoms to appear months or years later. I stopped having nightmares for a while. They started back up right after my daughter turned 1. I had a traumatic experience with someone, and I started having nightmares after. Just basically, here soon I am going to have to figure out how to deal with it. When, I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I was in high school, I acted out. I severely acted out. I hated being made fun of. I've been made fun of my whole life. Even when I was thin, I was being called fat. I've been called a stick before. I was in 2nd grade. I've been called overweight. And weight's something I have a problem with. I hate it. I hate being fat. And I'm going to start talking to my doctor here soon about a weight loss program. If that doesn't work, possibly surgery. My weight makes me more depressed. Most people eat when they're depressed. I like to lie in bed and not move. I don't like to get out of bed. If I have one of my nightmares, it takes a lot to get out of bed and want to move. I don't want to move. I hate that I relived it. But I don't know what else to say. This is some of the stuff I've read off the internet. This is some stuff that's happened to me. I can only tell you a little bit about it because I'm still learning myself. But if you have any questions or any comments, comment below. And yeah. Thank you for watching this. I also haven't made a video and since I was like 13, maybe 14. So if I'm all over the place, I'm sorry. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video.